All right, beautiful people, welcome to this new webinar. Today, we're going to work on procrastination, and everyone who's watching live or is watching the recording will be able to see an incredible result happening right now. I mean, in the next few minutes, once I'm going to start to apply this method on you. And I'm going to share with you in a moment what we're going to do in more details today. Welcome, everyone. We are 80 participants already. So at the end of this webinar, you will feel an instant transformation in your life that you never thought possible. And by the way, guys, if you stay until the end, you will be able to register for a free private session. Only if you stay until the end, only if you experience the technique on the webinar. At the end, I have an amazing gift for you. You're going to be able to register for a free private session with me or one of my facilitators. We have many facilitators in the team that have learned this method to apply it on other people at a professional level. Right. So what is the schedule of this webinar? Very simple. In the first part, you will understand how this method works. So I'm going to give you more clarity. What is the subconscious mind? Who I am? Why we need to reprogram the subconscious mind. And in the second part of the webinar, we will do demonstrations. You will be able to experience the technique live during the session. I'm going to take some participants from the audience. I'm going to do some exercises, and all of you that are watching, even live or the recording, you'll be able to experience the technique. But once again, it's very important to experience it also one-on-one, because applying it one-to-many is a different experience than one-on-one. So stay until the end to register for the free session. And at the end, in the last part of the webinar, we're going to have a Q&A. I'm going to be able to answer to all of your questions. So if you have any questions, if you want to ask me anything about your life, about whatever questions you have, we're going to have a nice chat at the end. And if you want to see results, be present, make sure you won't be disturbed, turn off your social media or other distractions, very important, and be fully engaged in this process. Yeah, especially when I'm going to make the commands, but I'm going to let you know when I'm going to start making the commands, it's very important to listen to the commands clear with presence. Yeah, and that's the way to see results. So why do we reprogram the subconscious mind? And I'm really curious if you ever done any therapies or any spiritual practices or any other practices to reprogram your subconscious mind. Maybe you've done affirmations, maybe you've done different manifestation practices. I'm really curious. You can write in the chat box, but I'm going to give you my perspective of why we need to reprogram the subconscious mind. Even modern psychology shows that 95% of what we do every day comes from programs recorded in the past, from your not from your conscious mind, but from your subconscious mind, which means that you literally wake up every day and you have same thoughts, same emotions, same behavior, yeah, and everything is repeating in your life based on the subconscious programming that you have. And even 95% of the thoughts and emotions you had yesterday and a week ago, you're going to have them tomorrow and the week after. Everything is repeating in your life based on the subconscious programming that you have. And I'm really curious to ask you something, to be aware of something actually. Whenever you have a negative emotion, have you seen that that negative emotion is not new? It is an old emotion, it's a familiar emotion that you felt in the past, that you felt somewhere during your life. And that negative emotion, as I said, is not new. It's an emotion that was recorded in your subconscious mind that you just keep process on a loop. And that's why it's important to reprogram the subconscious mind so that we break out this loop of having negative thoughts and negative emotions, fears that keeps repeating in our life without being able to control them. So this is why we reprogram the subconscious mind. It's not about manifestation. It's not about manifesting millions or whatever external material objects in your life, but it's about changing your inner world. It's about changing the way you feel, the way you think, the way you react, because the truth is that we cannot control the situations that are happening in our life, but we can control the reactions that we have to what is happening in our life. Yeah, we live in a world where we cannot control things. We cannot control the weather. We cannot control how things are unfolding in our life. Yeah, but we can definitely control the way we react. So this is why we reprogram the subconscious mind, not necessarily to manifest something, but to change the inner reaction. And this is actually the most valuable thing, to have a tool with which you can reprogram any fear or limiting beliefs in minutes, literally, and to see the results instantly. This is the most powerful ability that you can have. And by the way, it's very simple to learn this technique, but we're going to go to the technique in a moment. So what is the mental reprogramming technique? It's a very simple method with which you can release any negative emotions or anxiety instantly. You can change limiting beliefs, fears, and see the results instantly. And this is actually what, created this amazing community throughout the world. The fact that this technique offers results instantly. You don't need to wait, 3 months to do a practice or whatever, to do meditation or to do affirmation or whatever, and you cannot even quantify and measure the results with those methods. But with this method, you feel the results instantly. You come with a fear, you come with an anxiety, you come with a trauma. I'm going to apply the technique and you will see how we're going to reprogram it. And by the way, next week, we're going to work on trauma. So if you have a trauma, if you have like a bad memory about anything, come next week. I will show you how you can reprogram any trauma instantly. It's an incredible experience that we can have. And by the way, it's very easy to learn and practice for everyone. We have over 3,500 testimonials and case studies during the last 3 years since I started making this technique publicly. And I've done over 130 free workshops already. I need to update this number because it's been a while since I've updated it. And we have over 2,000 students that have learned this technique to apply it on themselves and on others. And obviously their life has changed completely. And I've done a lot of different seminars throughout the world, not only online webinars like we do today, with hundreds of people in the audience, in the stage, and everybody was able to see the results. But once again, I can show you testimonials, I think 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row, I can show you a lot of testimonials. But what matters for you is to see for yourself, to have the results yourself. This is the most important thing. And that's why we are here. And also, let me share with you my story to give you more clarity about who I am. I see that we are almost 90 participants at the moment. So my name is Emanuel Giurgi. I'm 32 years old. And in this moment in my life, I live an incredible life. I'm financially and emotionally free since over 7 years. I'm traveling the world. I have amazing relationships. And I literally wake up every day with joy and enthusiasm. And I go to sleep with joy and enthusiasm. And I reach this level that I call emotional freedom, which means that I can literally let my mind think about any situation from the past, from the present, or from the future. And I cannot find any negative emotions. And I have even weeks or months where I don't have any negative thoughts or negative emotions. Why? Because you can literally reprogram all the negative memory that was stuck in your subconscious mind until you release everything. But my life wasn't always like this. I was born, as I said, in Romania into a complex family where I experienced a lot of domestic violence. In the early 90s. That's the way kids were growing up in Romania, with a lot of poverty and domestic violence. And my father was very abusive with me. He was very aggressive, telling me to leave the house and telling me every day how happy was he if I was not there. And he was telling me since I was very young that he made me my mistake. And I grew up with this deep belief that I don't deserve to live. And I had social anxiety until I was 26 years old, and I was humiliated and bullied on all social environments I was in, at school, with kids on the streets, playing on any and every social environment I was in. I was having social anxiety and I was bullied every day because, once again, I had this deep belief that I don't deserve to live. I was very skinny. And even when I was in London many years ago, I was a student and I felt social anxiety when I was on train, when I was walking on the streets. From the moment I was waking up to the moment I was going to sleep, I felt social anxiety. I felt that I shouldn't supposed to be there, that I shouldn't supposed to live. And because I woke up spiritually since I was 13 years old, and I started to read a lot of books about spirituality, about self-development, about law of attraction, and I became actually very fascinated about this idea that we can create our experience of life with our thoughts and emotions. And it was a huge period of my life of about 6 years where I was so desperate to heal myself of all the anxiety that I was living every day, and the mediocrity and all the pain that I was going through every day. And I've done a lot of spiritual practices like EFT tapping, Psyche, Theta healing, timeline healing, a lot of discipline every day. I was waking up at 5, reading a lot of books, doing a lot of affirmations. I was sleeping with affirmations, living with affirmations, writing a lot of journals, and doing a lot of practices for manifestation. And after a lot of self-development and spiritual practices, and after I paid so much money to different courses, I've done even ayahuasca 24 times, I was so literally desperate to heal myself. I was paying a lot of money to different gurus, to healers, and I was doing whatever I could to heal myself of all the social anxiety. And the conclusion that I got after doing a lot of work is that not a lot of things are working. And this is not only my story, this is the story of most of the people that are coming to me. They're telling me, for so many years, I've done so much self-development, I worked so much on myself, but I am at the same level. Whatever I do, I cannot change my life. I still have anxiety for so many years. And the big problem is that people actually cannot measure and quantify the results that they have. And that's why I created this system that I work very pragmatical and analytical with the subconscious mind. We need to measure and quantify the results every time we do a practice or a command or an affirmation. If you don't see results after doing that specific practice, that means the subconscious mind hasn't been reprogrammed. And I will show you in a moment how you can literally, let me show you the list, how you can evaluate all the fears and limiting beliefs that are in the subconscious mind. Because if we go from this theory, and it's not a theory, from this idea, that everything is controlled by our subconscious mind, then what we need to do, the first thing is to do a complete and proper evaluation of our subconscious mind to see exactly what programs are there, what fears, what limiting beliefs, so we know exactly where we are in point A at the moment and where we need to be in point B, where we don't have any blockages in our life. That's how you can literally evaluate and measure your level of self-development, and that's how you can know whenever you are completely free. And let me show you the list with main fears and limiting beliefs that I discovered that most of the people have after working with over 10,000 people. Where people experience this amazing technique. So this is the list. And by the way, I can share with you the list on WhatsApp. You don't need to take a picture. If you want to take a picture, you can take a picture, but the list is actually much bigger. And what you need to do, very important, is to write next to each fear and limiting belief from this list on a scale of intensity, how intense and true are for you on this scale of intensity from 0 to 10. So you think about the fear of the future. See how intense and true it is for you on a scale of intensity right now when you think about it. Then you just write it down. And you write this down next to each fear and limiting belief from this list. And this will give you a lot of clarity. This will make you understand how much you still need to work until you unblock all the blockages from your subconscious mind. This is like the map of your life. This will help you understand how much you still have to work until you become totally free. And if, for example, another 6 months or 1 year have passed and none of these fears have lowered in intensity, that means nothing has changed in your life. You're going to have same results, same behavior, same reactions, and everything will be exactly the same. And for example, if you do, let's say that maybe you don't want to do my technique that offers results instantly. Maybe you do your practice. Maybe you do, I don't know, regressions. Maybe you do yoga. Maybe you do different practices for manifestation or whatever. But if none of these fears is decreasing, nothing is changing in your life. And this is an exercise maybe that you can practice every 6 months or every year, to measure and quantify the results that are happening in your life. And this is when you know that all the work that you can do by changing your subconscious mind is completed. When all this list with main fears and limiting beliefs are to 0, that's when you're going to become emotionally free. That's when you can let your mind think about any situation, past, present, or future, and you cannot find any negative emotion. This is a guarantee. And this is actually the only solution that works for everyone. It's not enough to do a superficial work to change, I don't know, the fear of the future or the belief that I'm not good enough, and to expect that your life will be amazing from that point on. No, it's not enough to reprogram just one fear. The only solution that I know that works for everyone is to literally reprogram all the subconscious mind. And that's when you're going to have success. That's when you're going to be happy. That's when you're going to wake up with joy and enthusiasm, and you're going to go to sleep with joy and enthusiasm every day. This is my promise to you. And by the way, it's very simple. Maybe you see that the list is big. Maybe you see that, oh my God, it's overwhelming. I have so many fears, but it's not like that. I'm telling you, it's so simple and easy to reprogram all of this list. If you work, for example, with one of my facilitators in 2 months, we can literally reprogram everything, because you're going to see today how easy and powerful we can change any belief and to see the results instantly. Cool? Okay, let's go back to the slides to give you more clarity. What is the result of reprogramming the subconscious mind? Once again, it's not about manifesting or trying to control life. It's about changing your automatic reactions. When you reprogram the subconscious mind, you don't have to force yourself to think positive or stay motivated. The positive thoughts and emotions will come naturally. And the beautiful thing is that once you set your subconscious mind to have a certain level of success, you're not gonna be able to stop that level. Yeah, it's gonna be automatic. So once you do this work, will stay with you forever, because you know how actually the fears and the limiting beliefs are installed in our subconscious mind. Maybe you can write in the chat box, how do you think the fears and the limiting beliefs are installed in our subconscious mind? Because this is a question actually that most of my clients are asking me. But the fears, after we reprogram them, will come back. The fears and the limiting beliefs are installed in our subconscious mind whenever we have a trauma or an intense emotional experience. And you as an adult, you don't have a lot of traumas happening in your life. Obviously, we have, different things that are happening from time to time, but we don't have a lot of traumas. Most of these limiting beliefs and fears are actually from our childhood, when our subconscious mind was created, when all of the mental programs have been installed in our subconscious mind. So once you do this work, it's going to be done forever. And also you're going to be able to learn the technique, to apply it on yourself. So whenever something is happening, you're not going to need any therapeutic or any other external help. So once again, you cannot control what is happening in your life, but you can control how to react to what is happening in your life. And what makes this solution different to others, to other techniques or to other methods? So the problem is that you cannot measure the emotional progress. So you never really know if something has changed or hasn't changed. That's why this technique is different, because you can measure and quantify the results. You can see, for example, the fear of the future, how intense and true it is for you in the beginning on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10. We make the commands, and you're going to see at the end of the subconscious reprogramming, you're not going to be able to think about it anymore. You're going to see how the fear is being decreased, and it cannot affect you anymore, literally. So it's an experience that you definitely must have. And how does the technique works actually? In 3 simple steps. The first one is to identify. There is no change without clarity. There is no change without becoming aware of the problem. So we need to identify exactly. For example, if you work on the fear of the future, we need to know exactly what is behind that fear, and also how intense and true it is for you on a scale of intensity. So we use this scale of intensity because it's the easiest way to measure and to quantify the results. So the first step is to identify. The second step is to make a command. And why do we make a command? Because the subconscious mind does not listen to affirmations, to positive thinking, to wishful thinking, to praying, to whatever, but it obeys to commands. By the way, how many of you have done affirmations? Maybe you can raise your hand, or you can type in the chat box. How many of you have done affirmations and you've seen that are not working? So perhaps most of you got to the realization already that the affirmations are not working the way we've been taught that are working. Because the subconscious mind, it obeys to commands. I know it sounds crazy or, weird, but it's an experience that you can have to see how the method works. The third step is to confirm. We always confirm the change. We see how intense it is in the beginning, the fear. We make the commands, and we check at the end how intense it is. We never do chaotic work, to throw a lot of commands or to throw a lot of affirmations with the hope that maybe one day something will change. No, we don't work like that. We work very precise, present, and with clarity. And you're going to see results every time we do these commands. And we don't use entities, external powers, positive thinking, auto-suggestions, hypnosis. Everything will happen on a conscious state of mind. We use just the power of our consciousness to change ourselves. That's it. Very simple. And also, by the way, no one has ever complained about changing their subconscious mind. So don't worry, you are in good hands. There are no side effects or whatever. And we got to the demonstrations. Guys, are you ready to experience the technique? So let's take a few deep breaths in, and to integrate all of the information that I shared, we're going to change a little bit the dynamic of the webinar now. We're going to go into the demonstrations. So you're going to be able to experience the technique. So take another deep breath in. So everybody is ready. Amazing. Let's see what I have prepared for you. So after doing a little bit of investigation, I found there are a few limiting beliefs that are correlated to the procrastination. So I'm going to ask you to write in the chat box how intense and true for you it is the limiting belief that I don't have energy or motivation. So think about the belief that I don't have energy or motivation, and write in the chat box how intense and true it is, this belief for you on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10, that I don't have energy or motivation. No, from 0 to 10, not over 10, yeah? Okay, so it's quite big for everyone. 9.5, 8, 7, 7, 10, 9, 25, lol, okay. 9, 7, 9, 10. And so everybody please write in the chat box how intense and true it is, the belief that I don't have energy or motivation. So guys, from what I see is quite big for everyone. So I think we're gonna work on this belief, yeah? Let's work on this belief then. I don't have energy or motivation. Who wants more energy and more motivation? You are at the right place to experience more energy and motivation. Cool. So guys, very important before we start applying this technique is to become aware of this belief. Think about it, put the finger on it, controlize it, yeah, become aware of it, see how you feel it, how are your reactions about it. So you have a point of reference at the end of the webinar and you will know that the belief is gone. Okay, and what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take few participants to do a special exercise, which is called a digging exercise. It's a simple exercise from modern psychology where I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions to find out what is behind this belief. Because here is another important secret. It's not enough to reprogram the belief that I don't have energy or motivation. We need to find out what is behind this belief, because the truth is that beliefs are not individual. Beliefs are connected to other beliefs, and so under each fear or under each belief there are some other roots that we need to find out, that we need to become aware of in order to reprogram this surface belief. Make sense? So I'm gonna take some people from the audience, some people that have never been here. I see Anna, you've raised your hand a couple of times. Would you like to do this exercise? See Alexander here. I also want to take a man if you are present here. Sorry to disturb you. I'm going to send you a request to open your microphone if you want to do this exercise, but I'm going to start with Anna. Anna, how are you? Can you hear me?
I'm fine. I'm excited to do this.
Fantastic. Where are you now?
But I am super afraid of.
No, don't worry. You are in good hands. So don't worry. There's nothing to be afraid of. We're going to get rid of the fear immediately.
I'm afraid
congratulations
of
for having the courage still.
From Barcelona, I think.
Barcelona. Okay, amazing. I've been there actually in the pandemic. When the pandemic started, I was on the streets of Barcelona and it was so weird. We had no restaurants, but anyway, that's another story. Okay, let me write you here. Okay, amazing.
It took me a lot of courage to do this. This fear I have to transcend is very high.
Congratulations for the courage. Tell me how intense and true it is, the belief that I don't have energy or motivation on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10 when I think about it.
I wrote 7, but now it's 10.
10. Okay. Do you want to reprogram it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do next. As I said, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and I want you to answer only with the first words that are coming to your mind without giving me explanations. And if you try to give me explanations, I will stop you. And the purpose of the questions is to find out what is behind this belief, this fear. So tell me, what is the worst that can happen if you never have energy or motivation?
I will never be realized. I won't go on stage. I won't go on stage to dance.
You will not go on stage to dance. And what is the worst that can happen if you cannot go on stage to dance?
I will never bring to the world what I have inside.
And what is the worst that can happen if you will never bring to the world what you have inside?
I will be frustrated and sad.
And what is the worst that can happen if you are always frustrated and sad?
I will become as my mom was when I was a kid.
And what is the worst that can happen if you will become as your mom?
I won't be happy. I will be depressed.
And what is the worst that can happen if you are depressed?
I will look ugly and victimized.
And what is the worst that can happen if you are ugly and you are a victim?
I will feel weak.
Weak. And what is the worst that can happen if you are ugly and weak?
And I will want to die.
And what is the worst that can happen if you die?
I won't be able to live my life, which I like.
And what is the worst that can happen if you cannot live your life?
My existence doesn't make sense.
And what is the worst that can happen if life doesn't make sense?
You will go on without me, everyone. I mean, I don't know. So now it's like, I don't know what I'm doing here if I cannot be myself and do my life.
And what is the worst that can happen?
Lost. I feel like lost on it.
And what is the worst that can happen if you cannot be yourself and you are lost?
I feel like in a prison. I feel tension on my body.
So do you feel any negative emotion at the moment, like a heaviness in your chest or an emptiness in your stomach? Where do you feel this tension?
I feel tension on the arms. I cannot, like, if I couldn't express, I'm pianist, so it's like someone forcing me to not to do anything. I
Okay.
feel block physically, muscles block.
But do you feel the sensation in a specific area of the body, maybe in the chest, in the throat, in the stomach? Do you feel it anywhere specific?
Teeth,
On the face?
yeah, on the teeth,
Okay.
like anger, like
And,
like
okay.
this.
How intense do you feel this tension in the body and this anger on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10 when I think about it right now?
9.
9. Okay. So it's
Very on other head, tension everywhere, like very like I wanna, I don't know, fight or move on, and like I'm blocked and I cannot.
okay, so we're gonna reprogram these fears. Thank you so much, Anna. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take some more participants from the audience to do this specific exercise. And after that, I'm gonna make the commands on all of the participants with what we found out on each person that I'm gonna take, yeah? And stay, you can close your microphone, but please stay until the end. I'm gonna ask you how you feel after I'm making the commands, yeah? And we will see how you feel after. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
And by the way, perhaps you saw that the fear of death is not the last fear that we have in our subconscious mind. Most of the people think that fear of death is the last one. Usually, we can go way much deeper than that. So I'm gonna take another man, Alexander. I still that you're still here. The first one that I can see is okay to do this exercise with you.
Sure, let's do it.
Hi, Alexander.
Hi,
Where are you from? Where are you at the moment?
I'm actually in Madrid, so it's interesting that Anna was from Barcelona because I'm
wow.
also from, well, I'm in Spain, but
Amazing.
I am from Hungary, so we're neighbor in countries.
Nice. Congratulations for the courage, first of all.
Thank you.
Alexander, tell me how intense and true it is the belief that I don't have energy or motivation on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10.
I would say maybe a 6 or 7,
Okay.
maybe. Yes.
It's intense enough to do this exercise. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So you remember, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and I want you to answer only with the first words that are coming to your mind. What is the
Okay.
worst that can happen if you never have energy or motivation?
Live an unfulfilling life,
And what is the worst that can happen if you live an unfulfilling life?
fail at life,
What is the worst that can happen if you failed in life?
not to experience life,
And what is the worst that can happen if you don't experience life?
be lost or stuck,
And what is the worst that can happen if you are lost and stuck?
live without purpose. I'm not sure.
And what is the worst that can happen if you live your life without purpose?
Feel unhappy,
And what is the worst that can happen if you will always be unhappy?
waste life.
And what is the worst that can happen if you have no purpose and you've wasted your life?
Yes, not having the experiences that we're supposed to have, I guess.
Okay, and when you think about these beliefs, do you feel any negative emotion right now, like a heaviness in your chest or an emptiness in your stomach? Do you feel any negative sensation right now in your body?
Maybe some tension in my lower back and maybe some heat, like pressure,
Where do you feel this heat and pressure?
mainly in my face and in my head, I would say.
And how intense do you feel this heat and tension on the face?
Maybe in my chest as well a little bit. Not very, very intense, but it's a little bit suffocating.
And how intense do you feel it in the chest, the suffocation?
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say like a 7, 6, 7.
And you feel like a heaviness, like a pressure on the chest, right?
Yes, something like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Alexandra. So we have identified what we needed to identify. You can close your microphone. I'm going to take another participant and I'm going to ask you at the end to see how do you feel after we make these commands, okay? Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you want me to take the next participant, you can open your camera. That's the most important thing, to open your camera to see you. I see Amber, you are the first one here that I see. Are you here with us, Amber? Okay, I'll send you a request to open your microphone if you want to do it.
Yes, sure.
Hi, Amber.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, not doing really great. Never ask. Don't ask.
Okay, where are you from? Or where are you in
Netherlands.
the world now? Netherlands.
Yes.
Amazing. I love Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been to Amsterdam many times. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Tell me how intense and true it is the belief that I don't have energy or motivation on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10.
8.
8. Okay. Are you ready?
I don't know. Just ask.
Okay, let's do it. So tell me just the first words that are coming to your mind, yeah? What is the worst that can happen if you don't have energy or motivation?
I don't do the things that make me feel good.
And what is the worst that can happen if you don't do the things that makes you feel good?
then you feel even worse than you do.
And what is the worst that can happen if this will happen?
You don't enjoy your life.
And what is the worst that can happen if you don't enjoy life?
I'm not a good caretaker for my kids.
And what is the worst that can happen if you are not a good parent or a caretaker for your kids?
Then they're gonna feel as bad as I do, and I don't want that.
Okay. Do you feel any negative emotion right now? Like a heaviness in your chest or an emptiness in your stomach?
Yeah, the chest. Heaviness in the chest.
Okay. Take a deep breath. You are safe. And tell me, what else do you feel in the chest? Is it like an anxiety or like a pain? What do you feel?
It's more like you can't breathe and everything feels tight.
And how intense it is the sensation on the chest on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10?
9.
Okay. Okay, Amber. Thank you so much. So we have identified what we needed to identify. Stay until the end. I'm gonna ask you, how do you feel after? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the courage. Amazing. Okay, and let's take one more. I'd like to take a man. So we take two men, and so, but I don't see any men with the camera open. Paula, I see you here. Would you like to go ahead? So I send you the request, Paula, to open your microphone. Thank you so much, Amber. Hi, Paula.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Amazing. Where are you from?
I am from the United States, Connecticut.
Amazing. So it's early morning for you.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me how intense and true it is the belief that you don't have energy or motivation on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10 right now.
I'm going to say it's at a 9.
Okay. So it's quite big and obvious. So are you ready to do this exercise?
Yeah, mine's more based on fear.
Let's see what we're going to find, because everyone...
than anxiety, though.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell me the first words that are coming to your mind, yeah? What is the worst that can happen if you don't have energy or motivation?
I will not be able to succeed in life.
And what is the worst that can happen if you will never succeed in life?
I will be stuck in the situation that I'm in currently.
And what is the worst that can happen if you're always going to be stuck in this situation forever?
I will stay in the depression and in the fear.
And what is the worst that can happen if you are in depression and fear?
I won't be able to move forward.
And what is the
in
worst
any
that
part
can
of
happen if you cannot move forward?
I will stay stuck.
And what is the worst that can happen if you are stuck?
I won't be able to enjoy life. I won't be able to move on from what's happening.
And what is the worst that can happen if you cannot enjoy life and you cannot move forward?
I'll end up having to be taken care of by somebody who doesn't want to take care of me.
And what is the worst that can happen if you're going to be in that situation?
I will feel unloved.
And what is the worst that can happen if you are unloved and nobody loves you?
I won't be taken care of correctly as I age.
And what is the worst that can happen if this will happen?
I'll die alone.
Okay, and when you think about these fears, do you feel any negative emotion right now, like a heaviness in your chest or an emptiness in your stomach?
Stomach.
What do you feel in the stomach?
And chest, but mostly stomach.
What do you feel in the stomach area? An emptiness?
Emptiness.
And it's like a pain, like an agitation, like what do you feel?
My stomach is an emptiness. My chest is just a pressure.
And how intense do you feel the sensation in the stomach right now from 0 to 10?
It's about 8.
Okay, 8. Okay, Paula, I think your internet is a little bit slow. So, Paula, we have identified what we needed to identify. Thank you so much for the courage. You can close your microphone, and I'm going to ask you at the end of the commands how you feel. Yeah. So, guys, this is what we're going to do next. It's going to take me about 10 to 15 minutes to make the commands because we have identified a couple of fears here. So what I want you to do for the next 10 to 15 minutes is to stay very present. So I'm going to make commands. Yeah, I'm going to make commands to all of you from the audience. And I'm going to ask that all of these fears and the negative emotions to be taken from you, sent into the universal consciousness, and be replaced with something else. So once again, it's going to take me about 15 minutes. I want you to stay relaxed. You can close your eyes, but it's very important to feel the negative emotion, to feel the fears that you have currently. Yeah, and just listen to the commands. And we will see how you feel after. And I'm going to make the commands addressing at the second person. So it's going to be as though as I'm speaking to yourself directly. Yeah. And I'm going to speak addressing to the second person from now on. So take a deep breath, stay relaxed. Once again, you can close your eyes or stay however you want. It's not necessarily to meditate, but you can do that. Okay, take a deep breath in and let's start. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have this emptiness, fear, and negative emotion into your stomach area right now, and all the timelines since this negative emotion has been installed into your consciousness that you feel right now like an emptiness, fear, and negative sensation into your stomach area. I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel joy, happiness, freedom, and fulfillment. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have this heaviness, anxiety, fear, and tightness into the chest area, and all the timelines this negative emotion has been installed into your consciousness that you feel right now in the chest area, like heaviness, tightness, suffocation, and tension. I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel joy, happiness, and fulfillment. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have this negative emotion in your whole body, like an anger, block, and tension in your whole body, and all the timelines in this negative emotion has been installed into your consciousness that you feel right now like a fear, tension, and anger in your body. I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and replaced with timelines where you feel joy, happiness, freedom, and peace. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you'll die alone, and all the timelines in this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you will die alone, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you will live a long and beautiful life with the others. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you are unloved and nobody loves you, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you are unloved and nobody loves you, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that everybody loves you and you are loved. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you are a pain for others, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you are a pain for others, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you are happiness for others and everybody wants to have you in their life. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you cannot move forward and evolve, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you cannot move forward and evolve, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you can move forward and you are happy and free. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you live your life in depression and fear, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you live in depression and fear, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you live in happiness, joy, and freedom. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you will not succeed in life, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you will never succeed in life, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you have succeeded in life and you are free. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you don't have energy or motivation, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you don't have energy or motivation, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you always have energy and motivation and you are full of joy. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that your kids will live a bad life and you are a bad parent, and all the timeline since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that your kids will live a bad life and you are not a good parent, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that your kids lives a long and beautiful life and you are a great parent. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and on the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you don't enjoy life, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you don't enjoy life, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you live your life full of joy and happiness. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you have wasted your life and you have no purpose, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you have no purpose and you've wasted your life, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you live your life with purpose, clarity, and you are free. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you don't experience life to the fullest, and all the timelines since the belief has been installed into your consciousness that you don't experience life to the fullest, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you live your life to the fullest and you are happy and free. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you failed in life, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you failed in life, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you have succeeded in life and you are free. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you live in a prison, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you are in a prison, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you live with happiness and joy and you are free. I command that this change takes place now and forever in your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you cannot be yourself and you are lost, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you cannot be yourself and you are lost, and I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you can live your best life and you are free. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that life doesn't make any sense and you cannot live your life, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that life doesn't make any sense and you cannot live your life, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you can live your life and life makes sense and you are free. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you want to die, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you want to die, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you want to live and you are happy. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you are ugly and weak, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you are ugly and weak, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you are powerful and beautiful. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the possible and existing timelines where you feel and have the belief that you are frustrated and sad, and all the timelines since this belief has been installed into your consciousness that you are frustrated and sad, I command to be taken from you, collapsed, and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the memories and roots, and be replaced with timelines where you feel and have the belief that you are happy and full of joy. I command that this change takes place now and forever into your consciousness and in all the levels of your existence. I command that all the receptor centers for the old programs, beliefs, emotions, and timelines to close, and so open new receptor centers for the new timelines, beliefs, and emotions. And take a few deep breaths. You can open your eyes, you can stretch your body a little bit, and let's wait a few moments to see how you are. Anna, let's see how you are. I'm going to ask you to open your microphone.
Hello, you hear
Hi,
me?
Anna.
Yeah. Hello. It was intense.
Tell me how intense do you feel the tension in the body right now from 0 to 10?
No tension. I
Okay.
would say 0 or 1.
So it's been lowered from 9 to 0. And how intense it is the belief that you don't have energy or motivation from 0 to 10 right now?
No, I feel like I want to go to stage.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How was the experience? How does it feel to not have that fear anymore?
It's like I feel like a girl that wants to do something funny.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this is how we reprogram the procrastination.
Thank you so much. It
Enjoy
was
the
very
change, Anna.
deep.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you. And I will also send you in a moment the link where you can register for a free session, and I'm going to send it to everyone. But I also want to ask Alexander, how do you feel? And also Amber, if you are still here, and Paula.
Yes, I'm here.
Alexander,
Hi.
how are you?
Better, maybe a little bit more, maybe lighter, a little bit lighter. But if I want to be very honest, like I don't feel a huge change. But maybe it also affects the situation that I'm a bit sick right now, and that's why my voice is also super like deep, and I keep coughing.
That's okay. How intense it is the heat and the tension and the suffocation from the chest from 0 to 10 right now?
Oh yeah, that's less for sure. Maybe 2, 3.
Okay, so it's been lowered from 7 to 2, 3. That's very good.
Yeah.
And how intense it is the belief that you don't have energy or motivation from 0 to 10?
I believe I have energy and motivation.
Okay.
So that changed.
Okay. How was the experience? Where is that fear, first of all? Where is it gone?
Where is it going, or where has it gone?
Where is it gone?
I don't know where it went, but yes, no, I just feel lighter. I can still feel heat in my body, but it's less like suffocating.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. So this is how we change the subconscious mind. But to give you more clarity, today we just changed the belief that I don't have energy or motivation and some other beliefs that are behind this fear. And you should not be able to think about that fear. This is the only change, that is happening. You are not able to think negatively about that fear. And once you don't have it, it will not affect you anymore. This is the only main and important change.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexander. Amber, if you are still there, can you
Yes.
microphone? And also Paula, I don't see you here anymore. Hi, Amber, how are you? Can you
Hi.
open your maybe camera?
Yeah, my chest is definitely lighter. I don't know if it's a 0. It's like the tightness in my chest is gone, but it's a little bit lowered to my diaphragm.
Amazing. How intense it is the heaviness and the anxiety from the chest right now?
In the chest, it's like 2, 3, maybe.
Okay, so it's been lowered from 9 to 3. That's very good.
Yes.
I believe that you
Yes.
don't have energy and motivation. How intense it is right now?
That is like 2. It's amazing. I mean, if I feel so much more energized, that's the motivation. I don't know because I'm sitting here, so I don't know if I have motivation to do. I think so because the energy is a little bit. It's more. But there's something the tightness. There's a little bit tightness. It's lowered, like in my belly, into my belly. I don't know what it is. Why it's going down, but is that how it's supposed to go?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
So, well, if the belief is gone, that is true. That is amazing. If it's been lowered from 8 to 2, enjoy the change.
Yeah. Yes, it feels amazing. Thank you.
Enjoy the change. Also, Paula, how do you feel? How intense it is the belief that you don't have energy or motivation on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10 right now?
Dropped to about a 4 or 5.
Okay. And you feel the emptiness in the stomach anymore?
That's gone away.
That's gone away. So it's 0. It's been lowered from 8 to 0.
Yes.
Amazing. How was the experience?
There's some stuff happening, but it was a different experience. I don't know how to explain it.
Amazing. Enjoy the change.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, so this is what the technique does. And by the way, guys, I've just sent you the link to register for the free session with a facilitator. That is the Calendly. But before that, I want to ask you, to all of you, to write in the chat box how intense and true it was, the belief that I don't have energy and motivation in the beginning, and how intense it is now on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10. Yeah. So please write in the chat box. For example, as it was at Amber, it was an 8 and now is a 2. So write in the chat box how intense and true was this belief in the beginning for you and how intense it is now. So Anna, from 10 to 1, from 8 to 2, from 9 to 2, from 8 to 2, Christy, Gita from 6 to 4, amazing. So everybody write in the chat box how intense it was, this belief in the beginning, from 6 to 4, from 7 to 3, from 10 to 5, from 7 to 3, amazing. Yeah, we haven't worked on the depression. So it's been lower from 6 to 0, from 7 to 3, 25 to 24, from 6 to 2, amazing, 7 to 3, amazing. I'm happy that you've seen the results. Cool. So guys, what I want you to do now is to register for the free session, and ideally to book it from maybe Tuesday. So I send you a calendar link. It's very simple to register. So I'm gonna send you the link is gonna be available only here for you guys. By the way, it's not gonna be available on WhatsApp group. So if you want to book a free one-on-one session with me or one of our facilitators, you can book it here. And first of all, why do I offer these sessions? To give you more clarity. So the purpose of the session is to experience the technique one-on-one, and then if you want to go further, to take a decision, maybe if you want to learn the technique or to join our program where we work together, you can take the decision. Yeah. So once again, the purpose of the session is to see if you see results, and then you can take a decision if you want to learn the technique or you want to work deeper with this method and to transform completely your life. Because this is the only requirement if you want to learn this technique, or if you want to purchase the course where you will learn the technique, to have results. You are not allowed to purchase anything from me if you haven't seen results before. And by the way, this is the mentorship program. This is how I work actually with people. If you want to completely transform your life, this is how I work with people. First of all, you're gonna learn the technique. It's gonna take you about 4 hours to learn the method, to learn to do the visualization, to understand what is the command, what is the universal consciousness, and how all of this technique is working, what are the receptor centers, how do we seal these commands, and everything. Is very simple to learn it. It's going to take you about 4 hours with a recorded course. And then you can do 6 private sessions of 1 hour each, not like today where I've done 10 minutes of commands on a group. You're going to work 60 minutes on each session. We're going to do 6 private sessions, 1 session per week. And that is more than enough to completely transform your life and to reprogram all that list with main fears and limiting beliefs. So if you want to experience the technique one-on-one and to understand the full capacity and the ability of this technique, you can book the session here. And also, after you book it, if you have any questions for me, I'm glad to answer any questions that you have. So you can use it on yourself too. Obviously, there are over 2,000. So just to clarify, I'm not a guru. I don't have special abilities. I'm just a simple guy that has been through a lot, and I've learned this technique. I've adapted it to the knowing and to the understanding that I have after working so many years with myself. I started to apply it on others. I saw that people have results. I teach this method now to other people, and here I am. So it's very simple to apply it on yourself, to apply it on others, and it's a cool skill and ability to have to reprogram yourself. Okay, let's see other questions. I hope I can do it with you. Yeah, Paula, you can register for the session. By the way, the link will be available just here. Make sure you register. Yeah. And how much does it cost? There are different options. If you really want to do this, definitely we can find a solution for you. So it's not a problem about that. What makes you happy? I actually received this question from a friend a few days ago. And the answer that I gave him is that I love friends. I love spending time with friends. And another thing that I love is actually to see the reaction that people have when I reprogram them a fear and they think about it and it's gone. I love to see the reaction and ask them, what is it gone? What is that fear? And they're like, I don't know. I just can't think it. I love to see that reaction that people have. Okay. Thank you for this session.